Hi guys. So earlier we were doing atoms and ions and formulae and chemical formulae and some other stuff like that. And today this lesson is about the electronic configuration or the electronic structure inside atoms. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, what do we know about an atom? What we know about any and all atoms are that they have a central nucleus where you are going to find both neutrons and protons clumped together. All the protons are positive and they're clumped in together. Now, you cannot apply your basic understanding of physics, at least mechanical physics, to explain away why the protons here don't repel each other away. Now, for you to just remember that there's something called a nuclear force that prevents the protons inside this nucleus to repel each other. The nuclear force inside the nucleus holds all the protons together. And around the protons in this pink highlighted region are where you're going to find all the electrons that are part of an atom. Now, it's a region where you're going to find, let's say, there's 5 electrons of boron or the 11 electrons of sodium. But our focus today is to dissect this region more and to see how these electrons are. Now, there is a model of the atom. It's called the Bohr model, after the Danish scientist Niels Bohr. Now, we refer to that structure of an atom as the Bohr model of an atom. And now, what did Niels Bohr propose? He proposed that electrons that are around the nucleus are actually not all in one orbit from the center of the nucleus, meaning they were not all equal distance away from the nucleus. He proposed that we found electrons at certain distances away. We call these distances energy levels or shells. And he proposed that certain electrons were closer to the nucleus and there were others who were further away from the nucleus. Now, you don't have to remember his structure by name, but this is a general structure we use. And the idea is that electrons are found in different shells around the nucleus. Now, you can assume these shells like layers of onions, and the centermost is your nucleus, and like peels and layers of onions, you got shells covering up the nucleus. For example, let's take a look at this diagram. Now, this is an atom of carbon. We know this fellow has 6 protons, 6 neutrons and 6 electrons. Now, this is an atom of carbon. What Bohr proposed was that around the nucleus you got electrons but not all 6 together. He proposed that in the first shell, the lowest shell, the shell closest to the nucleus, you'd find 2 electrons and you'd find 4 more further away from the nucleus in an outer layer called the second shell. So these were called shells. Now, we call them shells, we call them energy levels. He used the word energy levels because they actually represent certain electrons having energy here. But for the sake of simplicity, for IGCSE and O levels, we'll call them shells. So this is the lowest shell, the shell closest to the nucleus that has 2 electrons, and the second shell, right now it seems to having 4 electrons. But he even proposed a number that each shell around the nucleus starts getting an increasing number, where was given by this formula. This formula doesn't explain it, but he proposed this idea that for any shell, the maximum number of electrons that shell can occupy was given by this formula 2n squared, where n was a shell number. For example, the first shell. Now, the first shell would be 2 into the first shell squared, will give you the number of electrons that first shell can maximum occupy. The second shell would be 2 is equal to 2 squared, which will give you 8 electrons. And by this method, the third shell would be 3 squared, which is 3 squared is 9 times 2 is 18. So according to his idea of a model of an atom, the first innermost shell could contain only 2 of the maximum whatever electrons an element had, and then the second shell would contain the remaining 8, and if you needed to have more, then those guys would go in the third shell. So basically we are going to talk about energy levels or shells. Now, these are energy levels, but we represent them like shells, like circles around the nucleus. Each shell can hold a certain maximum number of electrons. The first shell is the closest to the nucleus and can hold up to 2 electrons. The second shell can hold a maximum up to 8 more electrons, and then the third shell can hold a maximum of 18. Now there are fourth and fifth and sixth shells too, but we will stick so far till the 3 shells so far. Okay, then we'll add on to later. Your syllabus doesn't really let you wander beyond the first 20 elements. Most of chemistry can be understood therefore with the first 20. In A levels is when you really talk about more than the first 20 elements. So we are really going to focus on the first 20 elements. So now the way this works is, think about the element sodium. I love sodium. I don't know why. I think it's very fascinating as an element. I don't know why. I can't give you a reason for it. I just like using it as an example. And sodium has 11 protons. It has 11 protons, and obviously this particular atom has 23 mass number, so it has 12 neutrons and 11 electrons. You will see very soon that neutrons have no value for us. Now these 11 electrons have to occupy the nucleus. The way that does it is that the 2 of the 11 will occupy the first innermost shell, and they start occupying the inner shell first, and there's a reason for that. Then you fit more in the outer second shell. So 2 occupy the first shell out of the 11. You left with 9 more. Then those 9, out of the 9, 8 occupy the second shell. And the last of the 11 left occupies the third shell. So it's like 2 will go in the lowest shell, 8 will therefore go in the second shell, and the last 1 will go in the third shell. This is called a shell representation of the electrons in sodium. Here is a diagram that shows us that. Here, look at this. This is sodium. Now, sodium, like I was saying, was what? Sodium is 11 electrons. So you look at this. You got this is an atom of sodium. It has protons in the nucleus, 11 of them, and around it has got to fill in 11 electrons. So what it does is, it 2 take the lowest level first, then 8 take the next level, which is the second shell, and then the remaining left go on the third shell. And the closest to the nucleus shell is called the first shell, shell number 1, or sometimes written as n equals to 1, where n is the shell number. The second shell where n equals to 2, and the third shell is when n equals to 3. The first shell has maximum 2, so you always fill the first shell first. Then the second shell has 8, and the third shell has 1 in this particular case. Now, understand that how we fill electrons. Now, think about, I'm going to take an analogy of a hotel to ask you to start filling out these shells. Now, the way this works is, if you can imagine that electrons are people and shells are basically floors in a building. And let's say I'm talking about the atom of aluminum. Now, aluminum has 13 electrons. So imagine you have a cricket team, has 11 players, but it has a coach and a manager. So now you got how many people? You got 13. Now, how would you fit these 13 people? Let's say they all enter the hotel. Now, how are they going to fit in the hotel? So they go to a hotel, they want to check in. The manager says, you know what, I'm going to give you 13 rooms. Here you go. He gives the keys. So what happens? If you're going to take steps going up, the people start filling out the rooms in the lowest level first. So imagine this hotel has only 2 rooms in the first level, but it has 8 in the second level, and it has 8 in the third level. Like this. So imagine this is a hotel. They come in. Now, you got to fit in 13 people. So if they have to go up steps, what they do is if the first floor, the lowest floor, has 2 rooms, each of the people will occupy one of the rooms in the first level. Then 8 more occupy the second level because they'll have to walk less. But 8 don't walk up the third level because everybody wants to be most efficient. Most efficient is occupying the lowest level first, the lowest rooms first, because you have to walk the least. Then 8 more walk to the above 8 rooms. and then the last 3 have to actually go up. And this is not much different from electrons, because for an electron to go away from the nucleus, it requires work. It prefers to be close to the nucleus, as close as possible, therefore the first shell. And we even call the first shell the lowest energy level, because, like for example in this case, sodium's case, this first shell is basically called the lowest energy level, because these 2 electrons are actually the closest to the nucleus. They are actually the most fun, most stable. Trying to go away from the nucleus requires more energy, so they fill up as inner as they can before they start going outwards. That's the way electrons in an atom work. They want to fill up the first shell before they go to the second shell, and the real reason is because it requires less work to go to the first shell than to go to the next shell, and it requires even more work to go to the third shell. And there's a reason for that, and the basic reason is that the nucleus is positive and the electrons are negative, and they're attracting each other. So imagine if they're attracting each other, moving them away requires a force. So the further away you go from the nucleus, the more attraction you have to overcome and require energy. So this fellow, if it actually had to come to this point, it would have to do a lot more work to come here than this electron coming right here. I'm going to break this lesson up into 2 videos because I've got to get this out as soon as possible. So in the next lesson, which is just coming up right after this, is that we're going to now fill up electrons in the first 20 elements. But so far, the summary is that every atom has electrons around the nucleus. The electrons don't occupy the same space. They are actually in different shells around the nucleus. The shell closest to the nucleus can only take 2 electrons, like an onion peel. The shell second from the nucleus takes 8 electrons, and the shell third away from the nucleus takes a maximum of 18 electrons. And what we'll do is we'll start filling in these shells with electrons and come up with what we call electronic configuration diagrams or electronic structure diagrams for these elements. And for later use, this structure of an atom is called the Bohr model of an atom, named after the Danish scientist Niels Bohr. And the scope of the O-level and IGC syllabus, IGCSE, is still studying the basic shell model of an atom for the first 20 elements only. Alright, so, and in the next video, I'm just going to be filling out and explaining how to fill out electrons in different shells for the first 20 elements, and we talk about ions also. Anyways, till the next video, ciao.